to another video, guys. This is Magic 101, and today we're going to be talking about the deck that's probably gotten me the most wins in the arena environment, and that would be Faerie Draw, is what I called it. So, as you can see, the idea behind this deck came from this, the Improbable Alliance. Like a lot of other cards, I got it in a draft and I noticed the possibility right away, and my thought was you just got to keep churning out cards, draw cards, and churning out little fairy tokens, and you just overwhelm them. Flight is one of those avoidance abilities that, for whatever reason, a lot of times you don't really prepare for. It's the easiest to block, but at a lot of times people just don't account for it. So what you got in this deck is Opt, obviously. First, it's a scry card. Also, it's a draw card. And it manipulates and activates the Improbable Alliance. So, right off the bat. Unsummon, in a lot of ways, it's a really good one-shot stall card. I mean, and that's all you're really doing with it, is you're using it to stall the big creature that keeps hitting you, or you're keeping an effect from happening, but it gives you a little bit of extra time. And with this deck, a little bit of extra time is all you really need to build yourself a healthy little army. Faerie Vandal, you're drawing your second card every time, so you're just building this thing up while you're activating the Improbable Alliance. Sprite Dragon is kind of a later entry. The fact that it's got flying and haste is great, but every time you're casting Opt or Unsummon or Improbable Alliance, that thing is kicking off and it's getting bigger. Then you go to the Cloudkin Seer. It's a draw card and it's a flyer. Tomb Raider, draw a card and it's a flyer. Winged Words, draw cards. And finally, the Iron Crag Pyromancy. This is just probably the only real creature kill that you've got in this deck, but 3 damage a swing at somebody's face, it tends to wear him down pretty quick. So that's the deck. Basically, you want to get this Improbable Alliance out and just start churning out fairies. However, you had got a number of other win solutions in the Iron Crag Pyromancer, the Sprite Dragons, or the Faerie Vandals. So let's take a look at how the deck works and give it a run through here, and you can see exactly what's going on. Most of the cards in this deck as well are common or uncommon. The Iron Crag Pyromancer is probably the only rare in there. So you can actually put this deck together on the cheap with the Cloudkin Flyers and the Tomb Raiders and that kind of thing. So you can see the Faerie Vandals are uncommon. The Improbable Alliance, the engine behind this card, is uncommon. Get the Swiftwater Cliffs out there. The gain 1 life is just pure bonus. Improbable Alliance. Red and black here. Means he's going to start killing a lot of stuff. And that's kind of beneficial too, is they're going to crank out all of these kill you cards, but with the fairy that are popping out of Improbable Alliance, they're not going to have enough to stop all of them. The reason I didn't cast anything there, which I thought I was going to go with the Tomb Raider, is the Faerie Vandal will get a +1/+1 if we wait and activate him. And since he does have flash, we can activate him at the end of our opponent's turn. In the current environment, this Kalane Reclusive Painter is actually a pretty good card for the amount of treasure that people use. Now we can drop this for flash. We could put it in front of the Kalane Reclusive Painter, but it's entirely possible that they have something that's going to pump up the Reclusive Painter, so we're just going to let it swing by. It's 1 damage. We can take it. like I said, they're going to have a lot of kill cards in that deck because it is red and black, but it's not really going to bother us. Now again, we don't want to use Opt because drawing more cards this turn isn't going to help us. But at the same time, when we put a Sprite Dragon down, the Opt will actually pump up the Sprite Dragon a little bit. So I mean, right now he's got a choice of killing the Tome Raider, which is the only actual card we have in play, but really, now that it's in play, it's become just a 1/1. We'll go ahead and block the big one. And take one. Okay, so once we get to 6 lands, we can activate the other ability from Improbable Alliance, which is a draw a card, then discard a card, which will just perpetually activate the Improbable Alliance. Now this is going to be something he's going to want to shoot, if he has any instance. More draw. You want to keep getting all of the draw cards that you can, just to keep activating the Improbable Alliance. Additionally, it filters out your deck to get you to the things that you want. So if you scry for something and it's not a draw card, you may want to consider skipping over it. Ugh, that Regent would be terrible, but we've got blockers for it. Unfortunately, that means he can start blocking our stuff, which means we're going to have to go wide and get around him. And there we go. So, nothing we can do right here with the Westgate Regent. We attack, Sprite Dragon dies, or we just send the Tome Raider, and the Tome Raider dies, so it's not a win situation for us right now. Them all being 1/1s, there's a lot of cards out there that can wreck us en masse, but hopefully they don't have those. So, block that, and we'll block that, and we'll let the one through. Obviously going to cast another flyer of some sort. They did not. That is interesting. Okay, Sprite Dragon down. Winged Words, pump up both Sprite Dragons. Crank out 2 more Fairies from the Improbable Alliance. And we're sitting pretty good. We can swing for 8 here. And we have the Unsummon if we need to deal with the Regent. The Regent has Ward, discard a card, which makes it a little difficult to get rid of, but we've got plenty of cards to discard. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do this now then. And that pretty much means game over, because they can't get the Regent back out there since they basically have 2 mana. We can activate the Improbable Alliance here. Usually I like to get the 6 mana out and just leave it at 6 mana. And then swing for the win. There you go. As you can see, the Improbable Alliance really just kind of provided us with blockers, but we could have won just by doing 1 point of damage from each of the fairies until they finally gave in. But the Sprite Dragons were definitely big enough to do what we needed them to do. Alright, let's give it a shot again. Alright, that was a good opening hand. Got 3 lands, card drawing, and an Iron Crag Pyromancer. Iron Crag Pyromancer having a toughness of 4 is actually really handy because there's not a lot of removal spells in red, so to speak, that will stop that. That's a creature. Let's go ahead and take it. We've still got 3 draw cards and our Improbable Alliance. Now, obviously, trample can be a bit of a pain, but hopefully they don't end up getting any of that. They're going to be drawing their own. Okay. Need to start getting things in the way. Hard to pass up the second Iron Crag Pyromancer, especially since they may start killing it. They're going to pump up that Lotus Cobra. Ah, so shocking. Ooh, they're moving pretty fast. I may not win this one. Oh, another draw card. We definitely want that. I wish it was an opt so we could slap out our other Iron Crag, but you got to go with what you got. Oof. Throw that out. I really wanted to get that other Iron Crag out, but is what it is, I suppose. That is going to hurt a lot. Really does nothing. We're going to take 10. That hurt a lot. Really? Gonna cheese me to death? But you can see, I kind of went around it. We'll try and get one more. Maybe we get a win out of it. But you can kind of see the idea of the deck. That Embercleave really messed things up. Hard to get around those legendary cards, if you know what I mean. Okay, good opening hand. Got 3 lands, Improbable Alliance, and a couple of draw cards. Possible Demir Rogue deck here. Apparently they didn't like that. Need some non-creature spells here. That is most likely the kill a creature one. I forget what it's called. But it's only going to take out one of our dragons. And if things work out, we might be able to just keep up the pressure. But right now we don't have guys we can make every turn, so we kind of need to keep them from being blocked, or not use them as blockers. Oh, well, he definitely doesn't like Improbable Alliance. Or she, let's be politically correct. Oh no. Well, that's not good for him. Let's pay it. It's a draw card. So it cost him his 1 card, and it put another flyer / blocker out there for us, so that works out. But as you can see, I've left only the 6 lands out there, because you can use the 6 lands to activate your Improbable Alliance when we get one out there. But you want to keep cards in hand that you can discard, so usually I just keep the lands in my hand and discard those. Still content to trade the 2. Let's throw that out there. Five, 6, 7. Not really worth it to cast it this turn, because it won't build up the Faerie Vandal, so not really worth it. However, the Faerie Vandal is now big enough to block the vampire spawn, so unless he's got some way of dealing with that. Oof. That will slow us down for sure. It would have. And there he goes. So as you can see, the unsummon is... It's a card that just kind of pauses their last move kind of thing. But in this case, it cleared the way for our damage to get there. So it's kind of a utility card. It can be used for a lot of different things. Unsummon is... the lesser version of Boomerang, which was always the really good one in the older editions, but in this case, Unsummon works just fine. Alright, well, hope you guys like Faerie Draw, and let's go back and take a look at it again real quick. I'll show you that you can put this together basically with commons and uncommons, especially if you don't use the Iron Crag Pyromancers, or you can't get a hold of them or something like that. You can still basically put this card together for, I mean, there's uncommon, 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 common, 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 rare. And that's a common and that's a rare. You don't even really need the Temple of Epiphanies. They're okay there as a dual source, but you don't necessarily need them. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to tell your friends about this, and comment down in the comment section if there's any other decks you want me to go through. As I said in the last video, I've been playing this game for a very long time, since Forgotten Realms, and I've seen a lot of decks come and go. So hope you enjoyed. Remember to comment, like, share, and especially subscribe to the channel, and make sure you click the bell for notifications so we can notify you when new ones come out. Thanks, and you guys have a great day.